5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't even know what's happening.
Put it in sport mode, and you're gonna fly.
Just exactly how awesome was it?
The mighty Nissan GT-R.
You've got the Mustang, the Camaro, the Challenger, the Corvette, the Viper.
America. Damn, I forgot the bananas.
I love this. Yeah, we'll do it live. Yeah, we'll do it live.
Crash! Crash, bang, boom! We are doing it live, people. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Thursday, and that means it is the TopSpeed.com podcast. TopSpeed.com is your internet home for all the crazy, cool, and amazing things that have motors and wheels. I'm Christian Moe, and I'm happy to have you here. Joining me, as always, is our editor-in-chief, Mr. Justin Coupler. Hello, Justin.
Howdy, people. Hope everyone's doing well on this fine Thursday afternoon now.
Yes,
it time before I say that.
Thursday afternoon, evening.
Yes, quarter after afternoon.
All right. And joining us again this week, we have Mark McNabb.
I'm back, guys. I'm here.
And the beard is coming back, too.
Yeah, the beard's back.
No, it's already back, man.
Nice.
Yeah, see, Justin, real men, like Mark and myself, it's, I don't know what, 3 days, 4 days?
Fully back.
Yeah.
Real man, huh?
That's what happens when you pour gunpowder on your eggs in the morning and put a little cologne on with some Hoppies No. 9. Shoot guns off the porch.
Berg.
That's what I did in the tradition.
I live in Florida, so shooting guns off porches is frowned upon because I live in the city part of Florida. You live in the center where there's absolutely nothing but swamps and gators.
No, I did this on vacation. In Tennessee.
Yeah, because he was up here with me.
Oh yeah, you can let off a mortar out there if you want.
Oh yeah.
Watch this, guys! Boom!
No, I know friends that play with hand grenades in the fall.
Hey Billy, hold my beer real quick.
Well, so that's a funny story. So there's a pumpkin patch that like grows in the back of this guy's yard. It's just like a wild pumpkin patch. Apparently, it's because like it's his grandmother's house, or whatever. Like she planted these pumpkins decades and decades ago, and it's in the back part of his property that he never uses. And so like all these pumpkins grow, and then like towards the end of the fall, when he has all these big pumpkins out there that are starting to rot, they go out there with like a hand grenade or two and just chuck them out there and watch stuff just explode everywhere.
I mean,
that sounds kind of like fun.
They call it the pumpkin pie party.
That sounds like a blast, but it just sounds. I mean, you hear about people lit up like the little ladyfinger firecrackers and blow a finger off. Man, you can deal with a hand grenade.
Well,
now.
so the secret is you use concussive hand grenades, not shrapnel hand grenades. So you don't use like the pineapple grenade because then that shit can come back to hurt you. So you just use concussive, so it's mostly just boom and pressure waves, not pieces of metal.
Well, but
there's still pieces of metal, so you still have to be careful. But
yeah, a concussive one can take a hand off.
Oh yeah, if you're holding it.
I wonder if I should not have pulled a pin.
Look, these guys have been doing drunk hand grenade tossing for generations. They know all the rules for drunken hand grenade tossing.
And clothes only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yep, exactly.
So, this is an automotive podcast. Maybe we should start talking about
start every single podcast this way. Some off-topic garbage, and we just keep on going. Then one of us has to rein us in. So,
well, but that's the thing it is an automotive podcast, and people come for the news, but people also come for us, probably.
I doubt that.
I don't think that. They come to hear about the Corvette and the Mustang and Ferraris and stuff.
They come to hear me play guitar and do my signature song, G.
Oh, hell no.
We are letting them down today.
I go get the guitar. It's just right over there.
Nah, we don't need
So
any.
anyway,
Speaking of hand grenades.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the TopSpeed.com podcast. Thank you for joining us. We're going to start the show, as always, with our weekly wheels segment. And we're going to start with a diesel.
A diesel, that's me. Oh, one thing, quick thing on the hand grenade. I will bring this topic back up when we start talking about own drive burn. So hand grenades, you like to listen about it? Hold on to the end of the show. You're going to get some more because we're going to blow some stuff up. Okay, anyway, speaking of blowing stuff up with power and diesel and fuel and stuff, I was in the Dodge Ram 1500 EcoDiesel last week, and I loved it. I really did. The Dodge Ram itself is a great truck, but the engine just makes it that much better. Admittedly, I've never driven the Hemi version on the road. I mean, I've kind of moved them around parking lots and stuff, but yeah, this truck was really nice. Have either of you guys driven it at all?
Which one?
I've not driven the 1500. I've been in the 1500.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've driven the Hemi before.
Okay, but I mean, 0 to 60 is like 8.5 seconds, which really isn't that bad, especially
No, really
considering it's a diesel. And I kid you not, on the highway, I was driving flat level ground. I was getting 33 miles to the gallon
That's incredible.
in a truck. Like,
That's why diesels are amazing.
I know, like I advocate for diesel so much, but like to experience it firsthand and be like, yes, it happens. And then like the tank, when it showed up in my driveway, it said that I had a range of like 620 miles.
Yep.
Like,
Awesome.
there's a hand grenade in my head. You know, like that's amazing to me. There were a few things I really didn't like about the truck. Mostly, it was kind of like an options thing, like the little bitty 17-inch wheels look puny compared to the rest of the body of this truck.
That's a massive truck.
Like 20-inch wheels look small in this truck, so having 17s makes it look like, are there any brakes back there? Like, what's going on? Another thing was the controller for the transmission. So like you've got the rotary dial because it's the ZF 8-speed, but in order to manually shift up and down, there's buttons on the steering wheel, but they're kind of set too far center for you to actually hit them with your thumb, and they were kind of small, so it kind of really sucked.
I just imagine you going down the road now. I'm gonna shift gear.
Yes. That's almost what you had to do, was like just peck it with your finger. Downshift, downshift, downshift. You know?
I'm a racing driver.
Boop. I think I should take lessons. Point and click. Oh gosh. Another thing was the truck is so wide, and the center console is wide too, and the cup holders are on the passenger side of that center console. So if you're wanting a drink, you have to like kind of reach over to get it. Yeah.
So you're doing some serious stretching when you're working in this. Like, okay, push that button.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm like,
upshift, downshift, drink, steer. Yeah, I mean, those were really my only complaints. Everything else worked really well. Oh, I did wish that the tailgate had the soft open and close feature. Like if you just pull it up, pull the handle up, it drops down. It doesn't have that nice spring in there, but I mean, that's searching for something to complain about.
Right.
Mostly the truck just performed really well.
Now tell me a little about the diesel itself. Does it sound like a school bus, or is it actually pretty quiet?
See, that's the thing too. Like, if you were just an average person and walked up to the truck, got in it, and drove it, you would never know. It doesn't sound like a diesel unless you have the radio completely off, maybe a window cracked, and you're accelerating away from a red light at like 2,000 RPM. That's the only time. At idle, at full revs, at any other time, it doesn't sound like a diesel at all. And it doesn't clatter, it doesn't shake the truck. It starts right up on ignition unless it's really cold. Then it takes a second for the glow plugs to heat up. But I mean, it's perfect.
and glow plug tech, like that's gotten a lot better now too. And I don't know how the EcoDiesel is set up, but like my Golf, even on like really cold days, like some of these 15, 20 degree days,
Yeah.
When I hit the key, it's less than 5 seconds before I can fire the diesel up. I mean, it's so fast now.
Yeah, because I remember my uncle's got an old, I think it's a 97 Dodge 2500 Cummins, and even on a warm day, it takes it a minute to kind of heat those plugs up. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I could see how you're right on that. But, yeah, otherwise the truck was great, and I loved the Ram box feature. I hauled like a 5-gallon gas can, and I just put it directly in there, and because of the way it's shaped, it just held that can so perfectly. I didn't have to strap it down or anything. Ergonomics were good, besides a little pecky dash thing with the upshift, downshift. It was a fantastic truck, and Uconnect was amazing as well.
See, the Uconnect system is good, but I've still not been happy with a single navigation system. But this week I've got something in the driveway with a terrible infotainment system, and it makes me miss Toyota's Entune. It's so bad.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll save it for next week. But I know what you're talking about.
It's awful.
And if you want to talk about awful, try to play a DVD in the rear seats. Just try it. Just try it.
That's happening this weekend, so we'll see what happens.
And then turn the car off and try to play it again. Just try that for me. For those of you who don't know, Christian's driving something really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took a picture of the price tag and sent it to me.
You know what? Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let them know what I have, so they know what to expect next week. I have a Land Rover Range Rover long wheelbase supercharged. So it's a Range Rover stretched by like 3 feet with the 510 horsepower supercharged V8 in it.
Yeah.
The back seats there's so much room between the back seat and the front seat. It's
okay. Is yours got the center console or is it the bench in the back?
It's the bench in the back with a fold down thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think they can put the center console in the long wheelbase version.
Mm.
But anyways, yeah, it's $122,000, which is hilarious because that's $8,000 less than the Porsche I had a few weeks ago.
And that's less money than the Range Rover that I had too.
Well, yeah, it's a lot less than the Range Rover you had because you had the autobiography.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't have the autobiography. I just have supercharged. But anyways, so yes, you had a very nice Ram with diesel, and diesel in a truck, a small diesel in a small truck is good.
Yes. And I don't know how Ford and GM are getting away with not having this in their trucks. Like, GM has that 4.5-liter V8 ready to go, but they're just not doing it, and it blows my mind.
So the biggest part of it is money. And the only reason Chrysler has, or the Ram has this now, is because of Fiat.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. To get like an F250 or an F350 with the diesel, it costs Ford about this much more money to make an F350 instead of an F150. And the diesel engine doesn't add much to that price either. But if you go look at the price tags, one of these trucks is like twice the cost of a nice F150. And this that way for all the brands. The big heavy-duty diesel trucks cost a lot more money to buy than the lower-end. Are they still technically quarter-ton trucks?
That's what they're called, but they don't really, like...
Yeah. But anyways, the standard level, the 1500 level or the 150 level trucks versus the heavy-duty, 350s and 3500s, the price difference is almost double, but the cost to Ford or to GM or to whoever is very minimal. And so they make lots of money on every one of those they sell. So if they start giving you the efficiency and performance of a diesel in the lower truck where the profit margin isn't as big, they're going to eat into those upper truck markets, and that's what they're always worried about.
Well, see, I don't think so, because this truck, yes, it's rated to tow 9,200 pounds, which is freaking amazing. It's not a heavy duty.
Yeah, I mean, Ford
the people who buy
14,000.
Yeah, people who buy a heavy duty buy it to tow that much weight. Like
wait, I'm going to stop you right now. Mark, you've lived in Tennessee. That is a lie.
Okay, the people who really buy trucks for the reason they should buy the trucks and not to put 12-inch lift kits and rolling coal exhaust on them is to tow and haul stuff.
Right, and
you know what I'm saying?
Right, and for a lot of those people, they will still jump up to these trucks. But there are people who just buy the 250 and the 350 diesels because they have the diesel and they think they need some towing power. But you walk up to 90% of truck owners and said, without telling them what it is, said, I can get you a truck that gets 33 miles to the gallon on the highway and will tow more than 9,000 pounds. Will you say yes? Most of them will be like, that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 1,500. So suddenly, I mean, they're losing easily like $10,000 or $12,000 of pure profit for someone to buy the EcoDiesel versus a 250 with a Cummins, or 2,500 with a Cummins. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons that these companies have, because you can go to Europe and buy small trucks with diesels all day long from the big three. Like Chevy sells, or Ford has the Ranger over there with a diesel. The new Ranger's amazing. But they're worried about eating into those profit margins. But suddenly when you have a non-American company owning Ram, they're like, well, yes, it'll eat into our profit margins, but won't it eat into all of their profit margins also?
Yeah, I see your point. I don't know, the numbers or anything. I'd like to see the real statistics on it and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like, GM developed that engine, the 4.5 liter V8, to put in a light-duty truck. And the economy tanked. They put it on the back burner, and it's just sat there. Like, the engine, from my understanding, is like 95% complete. All they have to do is dust it off, make sure it passes emissions, and put it in a truck.
Right. And then, I mean, there always is some other stuff to it, too. Like, back to Ram, there was that smaller 5-liter Cummins that's going into Nissan and Toyota trucks. That was originally being developed for the military and for Dodge. Yeah. Dodge passed on it. Yep. Because the weight of it is not much less than the weight of the big Cummins they already use. Yeah. And so, just from how much it costs them to get this new engine and put it into the trucks and the loss of power versus any kind of extra performance they would gain in towing or ability is almost nil. So they're sort of like, we're going to pass on that.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see that 5-liter V8 go into the Tundra and the
Titan.
Titan, yes. So
yeah, I'm excited for that.
That's going to be really cool. We should probably move on.
Yeah, we should. I do want to say a quick hello to Hulty and Cyprian. They're both in the chat. So hi, guys.
What's up?
But yeah, I was driving something way less awesome, and it's part of the reason why I kept Mark talking, because his thing is way more interesting. If you guys pay attention to the site, probably this afternoon or tomorrow, you'll see my review go up of the Toyota Rav4.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And
did it come with a Muffet inside?
No, and I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah. I don't
oh
like
wait,
it.
No, the Rav4. I'm sorry, the Muffets go with the Highlander, not the Rav4.
Oh yeah, so Toyota Rav4 is just a really big Camry in all the worst ways. I don't like the looks, but looks are subjective. A lot of people that I talk to say they like the way it looks, so okay, fine. Brand new refresh people like the way it looks, that's fine. It is interesting. There's some nice touches to it. They've done some neat ideas with playing with people's eyes to make the car look smaller and sleeker than it actually is. The interior looks fantastic. It's two-tone fake leather that's gray and black, and for being fake leather, it feels pretty good. Like, I don't know anyone who's going to be like, "Ooh, is this real leather?" But it doesn't feel really fake either, if that makes sense. It's good fake leather. And the dash looks nice, and everything's well laid out. The instrument cluster's super nice. I've got a huge speedo in the middle, big tack to the left, fuel to the right. That's it. There's a teeny tiny LCD in the bottom that gives me my fuel economy if I want it, and my mileage and whatever. I can hit the little button to scroll between them. It's all very well set up ergonomically. There's lots of storage cubbies. Basically, every surface that could be opened to make a small cubby has been opened to make a small cubby. It's very good. It's space-wise, tons of space in the back seat, huge trunk. Like, they got all that stuff right, but it feels like it's built terribly and it's terrible to drive. So part of the dash, there's this really cool like 3D feature that comes out like this right underneath the HVAC controls. It looks really nice. It's covered in leather that's padded, so it's really soft and you push on it, it's squishy. But if you go to lean your arm on it to use it as a brace to touch on the touch screen, the whole thing creaks and bows down. And
on the dash?
Yes.
Why are you leaning on the dash?
Well, no. So, because like you have, so like,
what are you doing?
Well, so just watch. Like you have the LCD here, right? And right below that is the HVAC controls and this piece that comes out. And while I'm driving, I went and I rested my arm on that piece that sticks out so I could hit the touchscreen more accurately. And when I rested my arm on it, it went, ink. And I found that you can do that with most things. You can push on the center of the dash right above the stereo, and you push, and it goes, wink. And you can push it on the top center console where the lights are and stuff. You push it up, it goes, wink. Everything just squeaks and moves when you push on it. And that's really terrifying in a car that's designed to put children in it.
Okay, I'm looking at your picture now, and I see it's not a shelf. It's like an extension of the dash.
It just sort of comes out. I mean, it looks fantastic.
It looks like that's what you need to have your hand rest on while you.
Right.
Yeah, that makes
it's very
sense.
sculptural, and it looks like it's perfect. Like you just reach out and you're like, oh, my hand can rest right there. But if you put any sort of weight on it, it starts to bow, and it feels like it's not really well attached to the dash. And that's
Was it a pre-production car?
No. And then it drives kind of terribly. So it's got the 2.5 that comes in the base Camry. So it's like 178 horsepower, 176 pound-feet of torque, something like that. Should be enough power. But the transmission is geared really weird. So first gear is super short. So you have tons of torque and power like instantaneously. Problem with that is if it's even mildly wet outside and you give it any sort of gas, it lights up the front tires and traction control kicks in and the thing just basically shuts down. So it's like, okay, so you really carefully try and take off, and then you hit second gear, and you drop to like 600 RPMs. And it's like you have no power at all. And torque, the torque doesn't actually come in until 4,100. That's when peak torque is, 4,100 RPMs.
That's really high.
Yes, and horsepower is 6,000 RPMs. So like you have to rev the snot out of this to get any power. But it's got a 6-speed auto, and just like all Toyota products, it's tuned for fuel economy, so it upshifts at the earliest opportunity. So you just never have any power. If you're on the highway going 55 and you want to pass somebody, third gear. So you stand on the gas and it goes 6th gear, 5th gear, 4th gear, 3rd gear, and then you can pass them. But you have to wait what is almost 3.5 or 4 seconds for it to switch from 6th to 5th, from 5th to 4th, and then from 4th down to 3rd before you can leave quickly enough to pass somebody.
Wow.
But just driving around, like just driving around, it feels okay, as long as you don't need that power. Like trying to merge onto the interstate, that was pretty rough, especially when I had 4 other people in it. I put it three wide in the back, someone in the passenger seat, and I thought the car was going to explode trying to accelerate to get onto the interstate. But just driving around town, it's fine. Driving around these country roads at 45 miles an hour, it's fine. Once you're on the highway and going a speed, it's totally fine. And fuel economy was good. Like, it's rated at 31. That's highway. It's 31 highway, 24 or 25 city, and then like a 26 combined.
Yeah.
And I got 29.5.
That's not bad.
Yeah, after almost 600 miles. It's probably 70% highway, 30% city. And I spent most of the time with 3 people in the car. So it's me, my father-in-law, who's 6'4", not exactly light, and my wife in the car almost everywhere we went. So I had extra weight and stuff, and I still got 29.5 miles to the gallon. Like, fuel economy was impressive, but you have to deal with the fact that you never have any power ever. There is a sport button, but sport button almost makes it worse because it's really quick to downshift, but it's still really quick to upshift. So the throttle, when it's in sport mode, just becomes an on-off switch. You press it a little bit, and you downshift, and you're off like a rocket. But as soon as you let off a little bit, boom, you're back up in 6th gear.
Now, it's so funny. Like, I talked to somebody recently that we were talking about the whole cars with power thing, and they were like, I don't want my, and this was not a car person at all. They were like, I don't want my car to have a whole lot of power because I don't want to feel like if my foot slips and hits the gas pedal, I'm just gonna go shooting off. And I'd like, okay, that's kind of weird, but maybe but this is representative of the demographic who would actually buy this car.
And I mean, and I can respect that from a certain point. People, let's face it, a lot of people aren't great drivers. And the idea of a really fast, really powerful car scares them because most of these people are adults. And think about someone who's 40 years old. What's their idea of a powerful car? Porsches that kill people, Corvettes that kill people, Camaros and stuff that are tuned up and kill people. Like, that's their idea of power. they don't understand that the RAV4 I was driving had more power than a 1976 Corvette. They just have it in their head that power is bad because power is hard to handle depending on what kind of car you're in. You don't want to lose traction. You don't want to slide. You don't want to spin your tires when you're going 60 miles an hour. Like, I can respect that idea, but there is a point where not having power is just as dangerous as having power.
True. But I'm sure this car can get out of its way for most people. Like, most people wouldn't have a problem merging.
Once you wait the 4 seconds for it to shift from 6 to third, it'll totally get out of its own way. But again, it won't get out of its own way until about 4,000 RPMs.
Yeah.
And if you ever hit the eco mode button, you have to try to make the car get above 2,000 RPMs in eco mode.
Wow.
Like, it shifts at 2,000 RPMs every time, no matter what, almost, in eco. Like, it's
an aggressive eco mode.
Yeah, I can see who this car would work for. Again, like, tons of space. It's really comfortable. It's relatively quiet. It's competitively priced, but it's terrible to drive. And then it has the worst brakes of any car I've ever used.
Well, except for the last statement you just said, it would be a perfect sorority car.
Right. Well, and
like,
right.
Just give it to your daughter and let her go to college.
Right. And like I kept trying to think about that, and then I kept getting to the brakes. So stepping on the pedal feels like stepping on a memory foam mattress, where at first you get absolutely no pressure, and then the deeper you go, the pressure just sort of builds and builds and builds. But it does always feel really squishy. And there were many times where I went to slow down for a corner because, you know, roads aren't straight here. And, like, I get almost to the corner, and I'm like, shit, I'm not going slow enough. You, like, really try and stand on the pedal because the car just doesn't seem to slow down. And then I took it up into Gatlinburg, and I was coming down out of the mountains. Serious brake fade to the point where I was worried about not stopping and crashing into somebody.
I've never had that issue with Toyota brakes, ever.
Right, and I've never had that issue like in any car, even any of the Toyotas. You know, I had the Avalon. The Avalon was fine. I had the Lexus. Those are fine. I had the Prius. Prius was great. This, though, I don't know why. I mean, the car only had 3,500 miles when it showed up. I pushed it just over 4,000 miles. So, like, the brakes shouldn't be worn out. But, like, they felt like they were worn out bad brakes. And as I was coming down the Gatlinburg Mountain, like, I could smell the brakes in the car, and the pedal kept getting closer and closer to the floor as I was trying to stop. Like, it was a kind of a scary experience.
Wow. That's not normally representative of Toyota, because their stuff is usually, you know, spot on.
Right, and again, this is the only model I've ever had with that issue in any way. So I'm just like, I don't, and it's not a surprisingly heavy car. I think it's 3,600 pounds.
Yeah, it's not
so
bad at all.
really not that heavy. It's not that much more heavy than like a Camry. So I don't know if there was something going on or what. I've got some emails to send to talk to some people about it, but it's like it was worrying. You know, that's about the only thing I can say is it was worrying.
I'm curious if maybe there might have been an actual problem with the car, because that sounds too much like maybe an issue built in a brake booster somewhere and a caliper. That just doesn't sound like something Toyota would put on the road.
Yeah.
Right, and again, that's why I have some emails to send. The thing just left me, so and like I ran into that issue on Monday. So I took it up to Gatlinburg on Monday. My wife works up there, or used to. She doesn't work there now because she just started vet school yesterday. But I took it up Monday, and that's when I started having issues. And so I'm like, and I've been talking to a lot of people I know who have experience with the car and things like that. General consensus from what I've experienced is the RAV4, most people say the brakes aren't great, but nobody had issues like quite like I had. But I'm also running into the issue where no one's really taking it on grades like I have. So, because I mean, I did take it up top of Ski Mountain Road, so it's like 6-ish miles of like a 7-degree grade. So I mean, it is a steep grade for a long distance, but still, it worried me.
Well, that's interesting.
All right, anyways, let's move on to something that's more interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Mark, you drove a convertible.
What did I drive? Oh, the Fiat 500. Yes, it was a convertible. Or is it?
It's a convertible.
No, it's not a convertible.
I love this debate.
You can give me all the shit you want to about freaking C-pillars and whatnot. It's a convertible. The roof is gone from the windshield all the way back behind the rear seats.
It still has door frames. That doesn't count.
I don't care.
Roof.
I don't care.
You know, here's what it is. It's an aggressive target top.
Not an aggressive target top.
It's an aggressive target top.
It's not okay. The Porsche Targa, no frames above the doors. It comes off the top of the windows.
What about the Volkswagen van, the old school?
Yeah, was that a convertible? Had the same thing?
Yes.
You would call that a convertible. You're nuts.
If the roof is gone to behind the rear seats, because that's how far it goes. It's not just the top of the car. It's the top of the car, and it goes all the way down to the back of the car, behind the rear seats, and piles up on top of the trunk.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can
Anyway,
still look up and see the door right here. So if I can see the door right here, that's not a convertible.
Okay, but what happens if the windows are up and you can still see the door windows?
That's not part of the door. That's a window.
Whatever. Mark, tell us about how awesome this damn thing is.
Wow. First thing, the exhaust. And Christian knows because he had this car a couple years ago. The
I didn't have a
exhaust is
convertible one, though. I just had
fantastic. I mean, I went everywhere in a lower gear than I should be just so I can hear the engine. Like, it's a little four-banger, and you would think that it sounds like, a little Honda coffee can thing. No, it sounds really good.
It sounds like a Group B rally car.
It was fantastic. It was really cool. The manual transmission I found was really great. The shifts were pretty clean and crisp. Clutch engagement was pretty good. It had 170 pound-feet of torque, so it was kind of torquey. I didn't feel like I was going to stall out every time I was pulling the clutch out. Always hit the sport button no matter what because it gives you more boost. And
right. Well, so without
I just like seeing sport on the dash.
Right, but without the sport button, you make less power.
Yes, I think it's 145
it's like 140,
or 150.
yeah.
So I mean, it's a significant amount of horsepower cut without the boost or the sport button engaged. And what's that without power? Need more power. So yeah. Okay, as a car as a whole, it's small, it's tight, the cup holders don't work, and it's perfect.
No,
It's
perfect is a bad word to use.
If I lived in the city, I would totally get this car. But I would have to live in the city and have to park in a parking garage and not own anything. That way I didn't have to haul anything. Other than that, the car's, it's too small. But if that environment is what you live in, I would look at it.
So that's the exact opposite. So if anyone ever is like, what car should I buy? Never, ever, ever in the history of ever would I recommend this car to a single human being. It is, for a car, if you need a car, it is possibly the worst car ever created in the last 25 years.
You suck at life.
Well, no. So the suspension, way too hard. Seating position, way too high. I don't think the clutch is that great. The exhaust is obnoxiously loud. You have to rev the crap out of it everywhere you. But listen, you have to rev the crap out of it everywhere you go. Fuel economy is awful, and it's insanely expensive. But it's the most fun thing I've ever driven. Also, like if 16 or 15-year-old me was gonna build a car, this is the car I would build. If a normal human being is like, I just need a new car, like, go buy a Civic. Don't look at that Abarth at all in any way. Because it is too uncomfortable for a lot of people. It is too loud for a lot of people. And how much was yours? Probably what, $27,000?
30.
$30,000?
30,500.
For a car the size of a shoe with a wound out 1.6, no, sorry, it's a 1.4, right?
It's a, 1.4.
So a 1.4 wound out to 160 horsepower with a turbo the size of your head that sounds like a Group B rally car and has a convertible top. I mean, like, everything about it is not good car recipe stuff, but it's all very good enthusiast stuff.
Yes, if you're an enthusiast, get this car. If not, go somewhere else. But
yeah,
yes, it's expensive. It's $30,500.
$30,000.
Yes, it's expensive, but you do get a lot with it. What you don't get is a decent infotainment center In fact, that was largely my biggest complaint about it.
Oh yeah, you get the
Because
awesome ghetto navigation.
I spent $600 for navigation, and literally all they did was take a TomTom unit that you could buy at Best Buy and have a fancy little adapter to it, and then it stuck into the dash. Right in my field of vision. And literally, I never used the navigation, not once, because I felt like it blocked too much of my vision.
So you just
and
popped it out and set it in the...
I almost thought it was dangerous. Yeah, it stayed in the glove box the whole time.
That is awful. I never knew they did that. That's terrible.
Yes.
No, so again, it's like everything. If you were gonna build a car, it's almost like they got the car done and went, oh hell, navigation.
Oops,
there.
click. I mean, like there's plenty of room in the dash for a redesign, and in fact, I think 15 has a redesigned dash with navigation. I think, but there's plenty of room there. Why not do it? But no, we'll just
Because it's awesome. Like everything I love about that car is like, why the hell did they do this? You know what? Why not? And again, it's like if me or you were designing a car when we were 15. The one that they brought me was a coupe, and it was white with white wheels and red mirror caps and a red stripe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I like
It's
mine.
not a car normal people would buy.
Yeah, mine was kind of similar. It's the white with the black stripe with the carbon gray wheels with all the red accents, like the little scorpion things all over the car. I think it was pretty fantastic.
And how much was it again?
Well, you know.
No, like how much was it again?
You know, I mean, it kind of came 30,000. You know.
What is the actual price tag? Because I'm doing some math.
Okay, $30,595.
$30,595.
Okay, but
so for $7, sorry, for $743, you could have my decked out Rav4. For $743.
if you
could
did
have
want
real seating for 5, more horsepower, surprisingly, a bigger trunk, navigation, heated front seats.
no, all right, let's argue. Okay, base price on my car is $26,100. All right, the comfort convenience group, which is the automatic air conditioner, the heated front seats, Sirius satellite, $900. Get rid of that. You don't need it. The Nero black seats, that's $250. You don't need that. Black mirror caps, you don't need that. That's $450. The TomTom, $600. Please throw that out the window. The only thing I would spend that's on my option list is the $1,400 option for the wheels, because I thought they looked fantastic. So for under $28,000, you could have the same car, but a lot less money.
Or you can just have a Miata or an FRS or a whole pile of other things. Like, okay, you know what you could have for that same price? A
What?
Fiesta ST completely decked out with every option and $5,000 in your pocket.
Ah, touche.
Like,
Ugh.
no, it's a terrible car from
You know what?
every
I had an Italian
measurable
sports car that
standpoint.
sounded amazing, and I don't care how much it cost.
And that right there, finally, that's the secret to this whole car. Because again, if you take a very scientific, subjective approach about what is a reliable, decent car any normal human being should buy, the 500 Abarth falls down on every single point. It's not fuel efficient. It's not cheap. It's not spacious. It's not even that easy to drive if we're really honest.
34 miles per gallon on the highway. Look at that.
And what did you actually get?
I don't know. I didn't check it.
I'm just busy the split in the fan.
Did you actually keep track at all?
No, I think I did, and I think I got roughly like 29, which is one over the city.
Okay, that's pretty good. I got 26 when I had mine. So yeah. Because again, everywhere you drive it, you're in second gear instead of fifth gear. Because hell yes, all that noise and horsepower.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
no,
is
you
one.
were just-
No.
You were just yelling about the noise. Now you're talking about, oh yes, all that noise has.
Well, no. Again, if you look at it from a very subjective point of view, like if your neighbor came over to you and said, "I'm thinking about buying this car," the answer is freaking don't, because they're gonna hate you for the rest of their life because they're in a car that's uncomfortable, that's loud, that swallows gasoline, that costs them way too much money, that doesn't have any room for people or stuff in it. Like it's it's bad in the definition of a good car. It is
I
the
disagree.
best freaking car you can buy if you already have a Camry in the garage and you want something to feel like an idiot with every Saturday and Sunday. Go buy a 500 Abarth right now.
Okay, I have to disagree with you because I hauled 4 people in my car and firewood.
By firewood, you mean
I
one of those
hauled-
little 3-piece fire bundles you get at Walgreens?
No, you look at the pictures on my article. I hauled firewood.
Really?
I hauled firewood in my car.
That sounds almost
okay.
as bad as when I hauled a compressor on the back of my Miata.
I will have to say, in a pinch, the trunk can fit stuff.
And the
I
seats
fit
fold
in the-
down.
So I fit in the trunk of the 500 convertible they brought me. It was just a standard 500 convertible, but I fit in the trunk of that one.
You put yourself in the trunk?
I did for a
And
photo.
Who was a dummy that let you out?
That's
Um,
odd.
There
It
is
has to
a
say
latch
inside.
actually where you can pull the seats down from the inside.
That's no fun.
Yeah, no. So I got in and I couldn't get out. I had to pull the seats down and roll through the cabin to get out.
Well, it's not a good. It's not a good Italian car, then, is it?
But I mean, like,
We
there
have to
it
fix
is.
that.
But again, so for $30,000, think about all of the other things you could buy. You could almost get a
doesn't matter.
3 Series. You
It
could
doesn't
almost get
matter.
a 3 Series.
It doesn't matter because this car is awesome. I like it.
It is.
Yes,
no,
the cup
I-
holders are too small and are too low. Yes, it needs a 6th gear. Yes, it's loud, but that's the best part. Yes, it's small, but
It has the ghetto
works.
navigation system. Like,
Yes, it has ghetto nav, but it's fine because it works and it's cool. It's an enthusiast car that you take out on the weekends. You drop the windows, you drop the top, you put it in 3rd gear instead of 5th, and you just go and you listen and you have fun. And then you drop it to 2nd and you pass people and you're like, ha ha ha, look at me. And you're awesome. That's why you buy this car.
right. But again, like, no, it's hands down one of the best cars I've ever driven. But it's also one of the worst cars I've ever driven.
This conversation's going
It is the best worst car you can buy. That's what it is. It is
okay.
the
If
best
you
worst
put it-
car you can buy.
If you put it that way, yeah. And last thing, a car seat fits in the back seat.
Ah, look at you being all Mr. Daddy.
That's right.
All right, Holty says his rich neighbor has a 500 Abarth and he loves it, but he also has a Morgan Arrow 8, so he doesn't care about money.
Can we meet your neighbor?
Yeah. All right. Anyways,
Wow.
we're gonna move on now.
Wow.
Let's move into some news and talk about America's newest electric supercar.
Yeah, speaking of obnoxious and useless, now have the 2015 Renovo Coupe, all 500. I think it's $558,000 worth of rebodied Shelby parts. So basically,
I mean,
they
it
took
looks like $1 million. Let's be honest.
They basically took a Shelby, I think it's a Shelby Daytona Coupe body, the CSX chassis, and slapped an electric motor inside of it. And they, boom, called it a supercar. I take some issue with them calling it a supercar, number one. This is my first problem. It hit 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Yes.
That's supercar range.
Well, hang on. It has 500 horsepower. Check. Supercar range. Has 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Check. Supercar range. Has a top speed probably slower than a Toyota Camry, 120 miles per hour. That's where I take issue with the supercar reference, because supercar reference is the whole thing. It's a whole package. It's acceleration, luxuries, the body, the power.
Why is it so low?
It's because it's a single-speed direct drive transmission with an electric motor, so it's basically just limited by the revs, how fast that motor can spin. And that's a common problem with electric cars. Tesla Model S has the same issue with, I think it's 140 miles an hour. That's their top speed. That's why you're not
They've
seeing
got a 2-speed transmission, right?
exactly, and that's why you're not seeing a Porsche electric car. You're seeing these hybrids. That's why you're seeing the P1. You're seeing a hybrid because they're combining the two to get that top speed that actually qualifies them to be called a supercar.
Well, but they do say that they are an American supercar, right?
Yeah.
And so we don't have an Autobahn. The fastest you can go is 85 miles an hour in Texas.
That's semantics, and that's still supercar. The term supercar, it's as bad as Mercedes calling a 4-door a coupe. It's just as bad as that.
I'll give you that one.
It's
Fine.
just like that. It's
You know,
not,
like I kind of agree with Christian on this. Like, when's the last time I went 120 miles an hour? Never.
That's an
but
argument.
I want to go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Like, bring it on.
You're right. I want to go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds every time I see an off ramp.
Yeah.
or every time I'm at a stoplight, or and it does have a supercar price tag. Like the only thing it's missing is top speed.
Yeah, now I will give you that. I do make that argument a lot when it comes to cars. I talk about who the hell goes 185 miles per hour. All you need is most people need 100, if that.
Unless you're Mr. Mo.
Yeah, unless you're Mr. Mo. But really, I mean, who's going that fast? Most people that own these supercars aren't actually going that fast. They're going 90, 100 miles an hour, if that. So yes, I understand your argument, but still, you can't really call it a supercar if it can't reach that stratospheric top speed of 195, 200 miles per hour.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, 120 is really low. I mean,
Yeah,
it is.
But I also have to say, the car's beautiful. It's gorgeous. What the hell?
It's because it's a Daytona coupe. Like, how is it not incredibly beautiful?
It is absolutely stunning.
It's nice.
It's expensive and it's super fast. You know, at least 500 horsepower, 1,000 pound-feet of torque, and it looks the part of a supercar. It is stunning. I just am hung up on that top speed. Maybe I'm finding the smallest thing possible to give a flaw to.
Yeah.
That might be me. I'm just splitting hairs here.
Yeah, and I will comment one more thing on the beauty part. If you look at the engine, or the motor, it's beautiful. Look at it. It's got those orange high voltage wires coming out almost like headers or spark plug wires, and it's
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about this car is even the range, 100 miles. That's really all anybody needs out of an EV. That's all you need. There's been so much research on this topic. They've all pretty much said 100 miles is really all the average person needs. It quick charges in 3 hours? I think I saw. No, 30 minutes. 30 minutes on a fast charger. It's 5 hours on a wall outlet. Both
That's
those
actually
are very
really
acceptable.
good.
Yeah, both are very acceptable. So every single part of this is perfect except that top speed. But I have to say that you guys are right. That who goes that fast?
Oh, wait, you said 5 hours for a full 100-mile range?
That's what it says. It says 5 hours on a wall outlet.
It took me more than 12 hours to charge the Porsche hybrid from dead flat to full, and that's 16 miles.
Wow. Ouch. Well, that's also part of a $500,000 price tag.
Yeah.
But it's an insane car. I love this car. The top speed gets me, and the price tag. The price tag is insane. You're in Aventador range. You're over Aventador range. You could have almost two. Yeah, almost two. You're inching close to the 918. You're getting close to that range now. So it's some pretty. 918 is what, 800,000? I think for the YSEC version, yeah. I think that's the top line. But when you compare it to other electric cars, though, it's so much more expensive. Tesla Roadster is like $109,000. When it comes back out with the extended battery, it's probably going to be a little bit more. The Detroit Electric SPO1 is about the same. Tesla Model S is well below that. So competing against other electric cars, it's really at a deficiency there because Tesla Roadster is 3.7 to 60. The Detroit Electric is at 3.5 seconds. The Tesla Model S is under 4 seconds. Oh no, it's at 4 seconds. I'm sorry. So it's really in some company that's a lot cheaper. The only thing it really has is the look and the price tag.
Well, how many people pay how much money for Shelby Coupe prototype or rebuilds, fake versions of those? Tons of money. So
that is true, and we don't know how this thing handles. That could be a huge with the CSX chassis on it. I bet it handles like a go-kart. So that's one thing we're not calculating in here because of course I can't call Renovo and say, hey, let me drive one. So
well, you could, but they could probably tell you
them.
no.
Yeah, they'll probably say GFY.
Yeah. All right.
It's awesome, but I don't know if I call it a supercar. I think sports car, very expensive sports car is a better term for this.
It's a sports car you have to be an oil sheik or a drug dealer to own. Speaking of oil sheiks and drug dealers, BMW just sent us some pictures of an X5 covered in bullet holes.
Yes. For all you drug dealers and oil sheiks out there, I have a brand new car for you. It's called the BMW X5 F15 Security Plus. Comes with... Which is a terrible name. I know, it needs to sprout wings and fly if you're going to call it F15. But yeah, the sucker is armored. Now, of course, this is not BMW's first rodeo in the armored car division. But this is the kind of the latest and greatest with their X5 SUV or whatever they call it. So anyway, it's basically your stock X5. It has a 4.4 liter V8 making 445 horsepower, 480 pound-feet of torque, but it's got armor-plated glass, armor-plated plates in the door. I'm sure there's stuff around the engine to keep it running in case it gets hit. The car is basically, for Christian with his sunglasses on. And
drug dealer sunglasses, what?
Wow.
I will avoid the ethnic.
They've got a cool design on the inside.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we've seen them.
Yeah, I'm so distracted now.
Yeah, I love the
I
love what BMW did here, because so many of these car companies, when they send us pictures of their armored vehicle, all you see is the standard vehicle. BMW
Just
had
like all the Mercedes, the S-Class
BMW goes
armored
out there.
Mercedes.
BMW goes out to an AK-47 and says, now we're going to send them some press shots. Okay, take pictures now.
Yeah, I mean, like, this was obviously the test bed vehicle because you see each shot is actually numbered as well, and so I mean they've got small groups of rounds in the windshield, for testing, if someone actually has really good aim with an AK-47. They've shot all the way around the seams of the door. I mean, it's fantastic. They blew this car up. So yeah,
I wanted to be that photographer that day. So yeah, I'm gonna do the press shots of this for you. Where's my gun?
Yeah, don't forget I'm from Tennessee. I can shoot. So anyway, this actually conforms to I think it's the VR6 rating. So that way, I mean, it means that it can stand up to like the small arms fire at AK-47, AR-15, M16, 30 caliber, and kind of below. So all your handguns, most of your
Machine
assault
guns.
rifle type stuff, yeah. Now, if you're going to get into like the 50 cal and stuff like that, you're going to have to pump up to like a VR7. BMW offers the 7 series for that, armored, and you can get that.
Will that machine handle a 45 caliber round?
The VR6, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You mean the 45 ACP, like 45 caliber?
Yeah, like a 45 handgun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be. Now they offer a VR4 series on the X5, and literally the press release says it's for protection from minor street crime. So 9
mils.
Yeah, I'm like, do gangsters use 22s these days? Is that like?
If you're driving through Oakland, get the VR6. If you're going through Chicago, get the VR4. Okay, check.
Yeah, I mean like protects against crowbars. I don't know. But anyway,
Protects against homeless people throwing shoes.
Yeah. The water will not come through the windshield if the guy tries to squeegee your windshield. So I don't know. If you need it, here it is. Go with BMW because it's from the factory. You don't have to go through an aftermarket armor company that will tear your car apart. This is from the factory. So oil sheiks are drug dealer friends. We're not really your friends, but go for it.
And BMW.
Well, I mean, if you're an oil
this,
sheik and you want to give me money, I will be your friend.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, if BMW ever needs a tester to blast off a few rounds at one of their cars, I'll be more than happy to volunteer.
I mean, I'm only like 2.5 or 3 hours away from the factory that makes the X5.
Listen, I will bring my own guns and
gonna
provide my own ammunition.
Yep. Same here.
Justin, you're like, I'll bring my own guns.
What guns?
You're gonna be over there like punching the car. It's bulletproof.
Oh God! All right. You know what's hilarious? We are almost out of time. But you know what? This is our 25th episode, so we're gonna go.
Silver anniversary.
We're gonna go a little longer.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what she said.
On your anniversary. So, Mo, why don't you tell us about that great valet mode in the vet now? For when you're taking your nice woman on a great date.
on our anniversary. We're going to drive longer. That's what we meant. We're going to drive longer.
Hey, you guys are the ones that put the awkward silence in there. I just inserted something.
That's what you
We have the mentality of 5-year-olds, guys. We are so sorry, but
This show is going there.
We are professionals. We do this for a living.
Oh, by the way, I'm a professional race car driver now. Did I tell you guys?
Oh, God. Oh, what is that about?
Oh, so when I was in Colorado for Flying Miata, I drove a race car on a race track, and I got paid to do it. So, under the strict definition, I'm a professional race car driver.
Technically, yes.
I'm getting new business cards made.
Well, I think that fulfills one of your life goals, too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I want to be a race car driving rock star astronaut. So, I've got one of the 3 done.
check.
But
All right,
anyway,
so
so the new Corvette Stingray. So a lot of people saw with the Corvette, they have that really cool like built-in GoPro system, the performance data recorder that keeps track of how fast you go and how hard you brake and tracks your GPS so you can see your exact lines on a racetrack, and it has the built-in GoPro to record everything. They now have a valet mode that turns all that stuff on also when someone else has your car. So anytime some little valet wants to take your 460 horsepower sports car for a quick trip around the block, you can see that and you can know that and you can get all of that stopped and you can get all those douchebags fired and you can get all of your cars back in one piece. Because, I mean, we've all seen those videos. Heck, we had one, like a week ago of some guy crashing a hurricane or something? Valet crashing a hurricane.
Oh yeah, it was more than a couple weeks ago, but yeah, it was a guy in like India somewhere. Like I don't know, he must have popped the clutch or something, but he like took out 3 cars and a pole, and his like, Gallardo or whatever.
Like you were talking earlier about someone hitting the gas pedal and the car taking off. That's exactly what people are afraid of.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Oh my God, where's the brake?
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go.
Audio and HD video.
Yeah, it records everything.
And
they can't turn it off.
Yeah, and it locks all of the interior storage components.
Yep. There is one thing I don't like about it. So, first off, you turn it on by typing in a PIN code, and so they have to know the PIN code to turn it off. But it doesn't cut back on power at all.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So like there are valet keys and things I know that you can give that like limit a car's top speed to 35 miles an hour and that sort of stuff. This valet mode doesn't do that. It gives them all 460 horsepower to play with, but it records everything they do while they have that power.
So basically you just get to watch them be a jackhole.
Yes. But when you're trying to explain to your insurance company and to your hotel why the hotel has to buy you a new car, you've got it all on video.
This is true.
As long as you remember to put the SD card in the glove box, because that's how it's all recorded, is on an SD card in the glove box. So if you forget the card, you're still hosed.
Yeah, see, they should do something with that. That should be HDD. That shouldn't be an SD card.
Well, but then how do you get it off the HDD? You've got to have, it'll probably be a proprietary cord for USB, and you've got to plug it in, do it all that way. At least with an SD card, you can buy as many as you want to, swap them out all day long while you're at the track, because that's what the system's created for, is for you to be at the track. So you can pop them in and out all day, dump them in your computer, look at the data while the car's back out on the track, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, but it's really cool. And if our next rumor turns out to be true, having recording equipment when someone else has your Corvette could be a very big deal. Now, I don't remember. I don't know if many of you guys remember a few weeks ago when I wrote the story about how Chevy had did the Zora trademark, and I said this would be a perfect time to create a mid-engine Corvette. Well, it seems that Motor Trend agrees with me. Justin?
I covered this one? I did not realize I covered that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you said you wanted to talk about it.
I did. I don't recall ever saying that, but okay, I'll cover it anyways, although I know very little about it. I guess Motor Trend got a hold of some information. Hang on. I was not prepared for that.
Let me say,
How can
Oh,
you
yeah.
send me
I'm
the
sorry.
email?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got it now. I'm sorry.
Remember,
Sorry.
we're professionals.
Yes, we are professionals. I'm sorry. I got completely confused and mixed up stuff. Anywho, yeah, more of this Corvette midship engine BS. Motor Trend says they got some tips and information that Corvette is actually going to become its own sort of kind of maybe sub-brand within Chevrolet. Kind of like what Land Rover does or is doing with the Discovery, Range Rover, and I can't remember the third one.
Evoque.
Yeah, Evoque. Kind of on that way, they're going to have the standard Corvette front engine, rear drive, but then they're going to do a Corvette quote-unquote supercar that may be called the Zora, that is going to be mid-engine, rear-wheel drive. This rumor has had has a pretty long history. I think it goes all the way back to like the 1960s. I think.
60s, yeah, at least.
Yeah, the 60s with Zora,
the Serves.
Argentov, and the Serve 2.
Yeah, the serve, and it's been on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. So mostly I think it's just kind of hyperbole. I don't think it's actually going to happen, but it's a cool concept nonetheless. To have what they're talking about, like $150-some thousand, or I'm sorry, more like a $200,000 mid-engine Corvette to actually battle the 458 and all the other badass supercars on the road today. So it's a possibility. I think it's complete and utter BS, but there you have it. More news about a mid-engine Corvette.
Yeah, and I want to say something too. Like, I don't see Corvette losing that front engine, rear drive Corvette. Now, if they created a whole another car and call it the Zora and threw a mid-engine in there, fine.
Did you
But
even read the piece I wrote, Mark?
You didn't write this. Cyprian wrote it.
No.
He wrote a piece about it too.
A month and a half ago, when the Zora name came out, I wrote a whole piece about it.
I think I did, but
And
that was
so that was my whole thing is no. Corvette literally cannot. Chevy cannot just come out with a mid-engine Corvette. There will be hundreds of thousands of people that will just storm Detroit and burn down what's left of it.
Not
what
much.
hasn't already been burned down will be burned down because their front V8 rear-wheel drive Corvette has disappeared. But with the Zora name, you can now create a car based on the Corvette with a rear or mid-engine because Zora wanted a mid-engine Corvette for forever, essentially.
Yeah,
He's
so basically,
always wanted one.
yeah, basically what we'd be looking at is, okay, you have the Corvette, the base Corvette, okay, you have the Corvette ZR1 above that, or the Z06, whichever one they have at that time, and then you're going to have one notch above that that's going to be the Corvette Zora. That would be the mid-engine rear-drive car. So you're
and that
going
would
to
be
still
fine
have
with
your,
me.
yeah, you're still going to have your front-engine rear-drive Corvette, but you're going to have that extra level above it. So they're basically going to make a whole big range of Corvettes.
One massive Halo car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I think they need to.
I think
it would be
it's a smart
great.
idea. I think it's a brilliant idea, but they're never, ever going to do it.
See, I don't know. I think they might. I think all the pieces are in place for them to finally do it. And here's the biggest problem: is they can't go above the Z06 right now. They physically can't. The envelope of performance that car has, with its 650 horsepower and race-derived suspension and aero systems, like they can't go higher than that. Not on the platform they have.
Mhm.
They just there is because the only step above that is suddenly 700 horsepower or 750 horsepower. Once you're looking at that, your car has instantly become a competitor with essentially nothing but the Ferrari F12. That's the only other car out there really with that level of horsepower in a front-wheel drive or in a front-engine rear-wheel drive platform. That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't care how fast it is. A Corvette in its current iteration, even with the nicer interior, cannot compete on that level. It can't do it.
Yeah.
So the only way to move above where you are now is to change to a mid-engine platform because then you can do new interior, you can do new dynamics, and having a 700 horsepower Corvette compete against a Ferrari 458 is like, wow, here's a 458 competitor with 200 more horsepower, 150 more horsepower, or here's a great competitor for the Hurricane with 100 more horsepower. Then suddenly you've got a game where you can play on that level. And considering the amount of engineering that's went into the current Corvette, I mean, the fact that GM is using the exact same chassis for the base Corvette and the Z06 speaks volumes about the engineering work that we've done. And the fact that they've done a convertible without adding any stiffening because the chassis is so stiff. So that means we have the ability right now to create a car good enough to handle a high-power mid-engine platform.
Yeah.
They just need to do it. And with the Zorin name, I think they finally have a way that they can.
Let me throw this out there. What's going to power it?
I think it's just going to be a modified, tuned version of the V8 that they have. Take the supercharged V8 from the Z06 and tune it to 725 horsepower or so. Dump that in the back.
I don't know. I think we'd see something different. I'm thinking, wasn't there a 5.5 liter supercharged engine trickling around somewhere in GM?
No.
No. They use a 5.5 in the actual C7R race car because they can't use the 6.3. It's too big for regulations. But that car makes less power.
Okay, I thought I read something else about a 5.5 that they were tinkering around with at one point. I could be wrong there, though.
I think that was way back when the C7 rumors were first coming out. There was talk about them going to a smaller displacement 5.5 to save on fuel. And they just said, no, we're just going to add direct injection to the 6.2.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Well, actually, and on that topic really quickly, to keep that, to save fuel, they actually went with a bigger engine. So they kept the 6.2 and had a more aggressive active fuel management. And so instead of having a 6.2, now you have a 3.1 liter V6.
Right.
Yeah.
Or no, a 4-cylinder. So, I mean, that's how they're able to save fuels, because they're able to stay in 4-cylinder mode longer.
Well, right, but direct injection saves fuel to begin with and
Yes, it
creates
does.
more horsepower. So
Yeah.
they did a lot of optimization to take that engine and get where they need to go without downsizing it too much.
Yeah, I mean, GM spent well over 1 million man-hours just on the intake system alone.
Which is also why I think they won't make a new engine for a mid-engine Corvette, because they're already going to be spending too much money on making the mid-engine Corvette. They'll just tune the engines they already have, because those engines, as we've seen, are more than good enough.
Yeah.
So,
I love less
think
power
that's
from
what'll
GM. All right, what next?
Let's talk about Hyundai, Mark.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so real quick on this, the article really wasn't about the SUV that was pictured. That was kind of a fill-in picture. What we're talking about here is more of how is Hyundai going to build a luxury SUV and then sell it? They're having that problem with the Genesis and the Equus selling as well as they hoped, because they're trying to do this whole dealer-and-dealer thing, and like you can walk into a dealer and to your right is an Accent, and to your left, behind a curtain, is an Equus. And in between there's about like $60,000 worth of price range it's skipped. Lexus can do this because they have Toyota dealerships and Lexus dealerships. And you can buy a RAV4 or you can buy a Lexus RX. They're technically the same kind of car, but they're not the same because it's a Lexus Toyota. So really the article kind of dives into the problem of having kind of this luxury but not really luxury SUV coming out, and whether they can build it or not. And Dave Zukowski, the CEO of Hyundai, is kind of debating on whether they should do this. They want to, but they don't know if they can sell it.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to making a second brand. So, like, there's been talk about breaking off the Equus brand to be its own brand to begin with. I think if they did that and they had Equus dealers that sold an Equus sedan and an Equus SUV and maybe a smaller or a bigger Equus sedan, like that sort of thing, you know, if you branched out and made a couple of models and made it its own department, sort of wing of the company, maybe, but I have a hard time imagining someone going in and seeing a Santa Fe and then seeing whatever they want to charge $50,000 for and going, I'm going to have that one instead.
Yeah. But Lexus does that somehow, you know, like that's the thing.
But it's two different dealerships.
Yeah, exactly. But you know.
Yeah, I think honestly the only way for Hyundai to do it is to split them. You can't really make a case for putting them side by side. It just doesn't work that way. Kia's running the same issue with the K900. Same thing. It's sitting there next to, you know, a car that's $25,000. And if you load it up with all the goodies, it gets kind of close to the same things that the K900 has. Sure, it doesn't have the reclining rear seats and all that stuff, but the basic luxury is all still there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was just an interesting topic to kind of discuss because, you know, how is Hyundai going to attack this whole luxury thing in the future, and will they have to break off a brand that deals strictly with the luxury, or are they going to try to soldier on and do their own thing?
Who knows?
Only time will tell. But Dave Zukowski is a cool guy. I got to talk to him for a minute.
He is a cool guy. I've heard a lot of good things about him. All right, we have a few more things to talk about, but we'll skip those. We're gonna go ahead and jump to our questions and answer segment. Let's see. Last episode, Sammy83 said, "Awesome episode, even if the bearded wonder was missing." So there you go, Mark. You have at least one fan.
Thank you.
I have a question for you guys. From which 3 different cars would you take a body, an engine, and put them all together to make one epic car?
Yes.
Sorry, body, engine, and interior. So I want to go first.
Yeah.
I would take a Cadillac CTS-V wagon body.
Ooh.
I would take the interior from the Range Rover I have sitting in the yard. And I would put the 750 horsepower V12 from a Ferrari F12 inside of it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well,
Does that not sound awesome?
talk about popping your wad, okay.
That's pretty cool. All right. Well, okay. Justin, how about you?
Okay, I would say I would want to go with something like the Mercedes E-Class. You know, not too big, not too small, plenty of comfort. I would want to slap in the hybrid powertrain from the 918 Spider. So I just think that's absolutely awesome. That V8 sounds awesome, and it's tons of power. You can go to EV mode. And the interior, you know, I'd have to say anything from any kind of Bentley. Any Bentley interior is fine with me. Just give me the Bentley.
And what was the body you said?
Body would be an E-Class.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's cool. So I guess compared to y'all's, mine's a little more conservative. I want the new Chevy SS, but with an updated LT4 from the Stingray, with an interior from an Audi.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the SS, it doesn't have that updated engine. It's got, like, the LS3.
Yeah, although, to be fair, I'm not sure how I feel about the exterior design of...
Yeah, the SS is a little lame as far as, like, because it kind of looks like a Malibu. But
Sleeper.
yeah, it's a sleeper.
Got a
And it
little
has a nice
sleepers.
interior like Audi.
Well, right, but this is any car you want, so you could take an Audi and put the LT4 engine in it.
See, I just feel bad about that.
No. Small blocks are designed to be put in everything. That's why they're put in everything.
Okay, well, no.
You can
'cause if
buy
you
a
put-
smart car with a small block. Well, you can't buy it. But people have put small blocks in smart cars.
I've seen a big block in a smart car. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, if you put the LT4 in an Audi, the car would handle like crap. Well, it already does because the engine literally sits in front of the front axle. So I mean that would just
that's true.
that would not bode well. So maybe the
This is sort of
LT4
a dream car.
maybe the LT4 in an R8.
Oh. Hey there.
Yeah.
Hey there.
Yeah.
Ooh, an LT4 and a Porsche Cayman.
Ooh.
Actually, you know what? That's all I really want is a 911 Turbo Flat 6 inside of a Porsche Cayman. Done. Because that's all that car is missing from being perfect is more power because Porsche refuses to give it to it. All right.
Well,
that was a great question, Sammy. Thank you. Let's go to Thomas Beretta. Because I like to dream of spending money. Yes. I have a game here that I want you guys to play. You have $40,000 to spend on any number of cars that you will own for the rest of your lives. What would you buy? New or used? You can do whatever you want with the money. Modify cars, whatever. Let's see how creative we get. He said he would spend half of it making a track day toy.
Well, I guess I'll take the lead on this. I would have to go with a used Cayman S. Yeah, used Cayman S. It's somewhere in the 30s, I think you can get. And then just for shits and giggles, I have to get a four-door sedan because I do have a family. So I just buy some cheap Dodge Neon for $1,000 to family around.
Wow. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
bad
That
at this game.
sucks. Yeah,
Oh, come on.
that sucks.
What's wrong with that? I got a Cayman.
Okay,
You have a
Mark.
Dodge Neon.
I mean, any
hey,
four-door. Any four-door. I just use the Dodge Neon as an example.
You did use a terrible
I'm in middle
example.
management. I drive a Stratus.
Okay,
Mark,
any four-door. I can
go.
get a couple thousand.
Mark, go, Mark.
Ah, okay, mine's gonna be better. Okay, so I've split mine into 4 cars, netting roughly $10,000 a piece for parts, accessories, the cost of the car, and everything. Okay, ready? Miata, Jeep TJ, second generation Dodge Ram 2500 with a Cummins, and a 1986 Chevy Blazer.
See, there you go.
Dropped
Now,
it.
how does a 1986 Chevy Blazer not get a kick in the balls, but a four-door sedan does?
Because you said neon.
I said
didn't-
like a neon. I didn't say a neon. I didn't like
Okay,
What is
no.
this, 1998, dude? Come on.
I want nothing like a neon. You could have been like anything else except for essentially the only thing that might have been worse than that would be Sebring. If you're like, it's Sebring.
Hey, I had a neon for like 2 years, and it was an awesome car. It got me where I needed to go. It never broke down.
SRT4.
Okay, hey, the SRT4 is ugly as hell, but they're quick.
No.
Yes.
Drive one.
So I would buy a wrecked Miata. I would buy an
That's a
Exocet.
headache.
So I would buy a wrecked Miata and an Exocet, and I would put them together for my first $10,000. I would buy a cheap used Boxster. You can find one for about $6,000. So I'm up to $16,000. I would buy my old Ford 65 pickup truck back. It's on sale right now for $2,500. I would then buy another used Golf TDI like the one I have. Current Blue Book on mine today is $17,000. So that leaves me $10,000 left, and I would use that $10,000 to buy any assortment of broken British cars that I could buy. I really want a Triumph GT6. I'd also like a Spitfire.
Wow.
Okay, that's cool.
So that's what, 7 cars? Seven cars? Yeah.
But so you're talking like you're going to buy an old Boxer, like an old beaten to crap, faded paint, torn leather Boxer.
No,
like a $6,000
because
Boxer.
because they've been around for long enough. So because me and my wife are talking about buying one now. We're going to sell the 944 and buy one. I found one the other day, $6,200. Buy it now. It was a 1999 Guards Red 5-speed manual, black leather interior, had 91,000 miles on it.
I don't know if I'd want to maintain that thing.
Yeah, I know. That's something like.
No. So the
water
Cayman-
pump went out.
sorry,
Here's
no,
$1,000.
The Boxster.
$1,000, you're being nice.
Yeah, no. So the Boxster and the 911 both have been rated as some of the most reliable cars you can buy.
Okay.
Yep, it's your money.
I'm
You
just
might want to save that $10,000 for parts in that car,
they're bulletproof. They're bulletproof cars.
like the BMW.
No, the BMW is not bulletproof. The Boxster is.
The BMW X5 F15 is bulletproof.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Anyways, so thank you for that question, Thomas Beretta. Joey21 asked us, guys, why do you think VW is ignoring the American market? I
'Cause
mean,
they
they
suck.
have such great cars, and for some reason they won't bring stateside. Scirocco, Amarok, Golf GTD, etc. I'm pretty sure they would sell really well. I'm
You
gonna
are
start,
right.
well, I'm going to start with this one, and no, you're wrong. The Scirocco will not sell because it's a hatchback. The Golf GTD will not sell because it's a diesel.
Diesel.
And the Amarok will not sell because it's a truck that's made by a non-American company. If you don't believe me, ask Nissan or Toyota how well their trucks sell compared to the F-150 or the Ram 1500 or the Chevy 1500. That's
You
the
suck at life, but you're right. But they should bring those anyway. Because the Amarok is awesome.
No, and I agree. The Amarok is awesome. The Scirocco is achingly pretty. And we are actually getting a Golf GTD. It's like 90% we're going to get that in 2016. So that will be coming, but the Golf does not sell well. Volkswagen sells, I think, 3 Jettas or 4 Jettas to every Golf. The GTI sells even less. And the diesel Golf, like Volkswagen's diesels, they don't sell very, very many of those either. Like this stuff doesn't sell well. It would probably sell well enough that Volkswagen could break even for bringing it in, but Volkswagen isn't in the business of breaking even. Volkswagen is in the business of making money. You guys have anything to add?
No, you're the Volkswagen man. I think you pretty much took my words. So that's about what I was gonna say.
And Volkswagen is not ignoring the American market.
No, they're far from.
We have an entire Jetta that nowhere else in the world has because it's built specifically for the North American market. VW is paying a lot of attention to us, just not the way some of us would like them to with things like the Scirocco. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I beg for the Scirocco. I'm a huge advocate for getting it. I've always loved it since it was here in like the 80s. I've wanted one, but there is no market for it here. The Amarok asked Honda about the Ridgeline. How'd that end up? Not very good. So I mean, that's why they can't bring it here. And diesels, well, you said the same thing. Diesel, no, Americans don't buy diesel because it's like 40 or 50% more per gallon.
Right. Americans are getting better. But I think it's right now, I think they hit a new record of 6% of all cars sold in America last year were diesels. 6%. And that's including all the new diesel stuff that's coming out from all these companies. I mean, Audi has like 5 cars with diesel engines in them now, and we still only manage 6% diesel sales across all car sales in the U.S. The GTD, so take the GTI, which doesn't sell very, very well anyways. I mean, it sells well enough, but hot hatches don't sell here. And then a diesel hot hatch, it's essentially going to be me and 3 other journalists who are going to be the only people in the United States that buy that thing. But if it comes, Volkswagen, I will buy one.
You have a sale.
It's done. Especially if I can get it in that crazy Kermit the Frog green that you brought the tester in 2 years ago.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's not easy being green.
All right. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. It's been a long one, but it's our birthday, so leave us a little bit what we want. Oh, by the way, it's also Justin's birthday today.
Yay!
Happy birthday, Justin.
Yay.
You're 117 years old or something.
Don't get that wrong. 115.
Oh, sorry. All right. So
you don't look a day over 85.
All right. Our own drive burn this week comes straight from our own Cyprian. He says, how about some Malaise era fun for own drive burn? Let's take the 1978 Mustang King Cobra, which is a Mustang 2, if you're unfamiliar. The 1978 AMC Gremlin GT.
Ooh.
GT's important. And the DeLorean DMC 12.
Okay, I want to take the lead on this one, okay? The only car, I'm sorry, out of the whole lot I could even see myself owning is, as much as it kills me to say it, but the redesigned Pinto. I will take the 78 Mustang King Cobra only because, A, it's limited edition, like 4,500 units. B, it's the only one that didn't fall apart while it drove down the road. The Mustang 2 is actually a well-built car, which is why there's still a lot of them available today. And actually, it's a good car. They lasted forever. There's parts available. The DeLorean I want to drive one time just to say I drove a DeLorean. But I don't want one full-time because they fall apart. They're crap. You have to maintain that stainless steel body on like a weekly basis. And the AMC Gremlin GT, I just burn it, roll it down a hill. I'll piss on the ashes when I'm done and just get rid of it. It is a piece of crap hatchback with massive wheel flares, nice big race stripes down the side of it, a power dome hood with a CJ straight 6 under the hood. What?
Those are good engines.
It's a great engine, but to call something a GT and then stick a CJ engine under with like 102 horsepower or something like that, it's ridiculous. Yes, it was a limited edition. I can't remember. I think I saw like 40-something units or something crazy like that. Still, I know. Just kill it. Kill it.
Yeah.
The Gremlin needs to just go away.
No, see, you got that all wrong.
Yeah, you did.
I would own the shit out of a DeLorean.
All day long.
And then you'll be calling me crying every day about it's rusting and it fell apart, the door fell off, and the power windows don't work.
Dude. I've got a DeLorean. Do you know how many chicks I could pick up in a DeLorean?
He can go back in time.
That's right. 88 miles an hour, buddy. 88 miles an hour.
You gotta pick up one chick. One chick. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know about 88 miles an hour because the speedometer goes up to 85.
Yeah, you know what? I've got a cell phone. I got a GPS. 88 miles an hour.
No,
Boom.
you're gonna get a fog kit, so when you open up the door, it goes and fog comes out. When
Yes,
you open the
I
door.
will.
Yes, we're gonna Mr. Fusion and flux capacitor and all. Christian and I are gonna build this car.
Yeah, hell yeah, a flux capacitor. And then I would burn the Mustang King Cobra because I don't like the Mustang 2. In fact, here's a little known fact that most people don't know. I hate basically every single Mustang except for the latest generation and the first generation. I think the rest of them are garbage and they could all burn in a giant pile and I wouldn't care less.
No, you suck at life.
I'm just
you
not a fan.
do know that the King Cobra's like the fastest of the bunch, right?
Don't care.
Hey, Justin,
Okay.
do you know the horsepower rating of the King Cobra?
139.
From what I saw, it was 133. Yeah.
You know what the
that's
horsepower
pretty
an AMC Gremlin is?
sad. Probably like 80.
Yeah, you know what the horsepower in the DeLorean DMC
But
was?
here's the dump.
Enough to go 88 and back in
That's
back
right.
in the
Enough-
No,
time.
there's actually a running joke about the DMC about it couldn't hit 88 miles an hour.
Doesn't matter. I think it's cool, and lots of people think it's cool. And I would drive the 1978 AMC Gremlin GT once to have that story about how I got to drive this car that almost doesn't exist, how I survived driving an AMC Gremlin GT, and it would just be a really great bar story to have when I'm at some sort of event and lots of other journalists are there, and be like, because you share car stories, and I could share the car story about the time I drove the 78 AMC Gremlin GT, and about how awesome I am because I own a DeLorean.
Yeah, see, okay, Christian, I take your side of everything, except I'm going to switch my cars around. I'm going to say I'm going to have the great bar stories of how I once drove a Mustang 2 and how I burned a Gremlin and how I own a DeLorean, but
Because DeLoreans are awesome.
And,
yes,
and neither of
they
you
are
ever,
awesome.
neither of you.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. I will go back in time and buy new parts, and I will build my
You
car.
couldn't buy
with new
parts back in time anyways. He's too busy out
You
dealing drugs.
can buy parts now. There
Did
is a
you know-
company that
did
has
you know-
spares, and you can buy a new old
Yes, I know,
one
I
now.
know.
You can buy a brand new DeLorean today.
It's
from
made from
parts
spares.
made from back
Yes,
in.
I know.
Yes.
I forgot about that, but still, they're crap that falls apart, and yeah.
Yeah, you suck. So anyway, yeah, the King Cobra though. Yeah, that's just. I would drive it once though, just to say I've driven a Mustang 2, and look how far the Mustangs have come.
But it's got an imitation Firebird hood that has a Cobra instead of the Chicken Hawk.
The fiery chicken.
Well, you know what? The AMC Gremlin doesn't match the Flamin' Chicken.
And it has T-tops.
It's named after something that creates havoc in electronic devices.
Yeah. Which
So
in a car from
how-
the 70s is a terrible name.
Every time I hear about a Gremlin, I think of that Simpsons episode where they talk about gremlins on the side of the bus.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I've
I
never
think
seen
of
that
that really terrible 80s movie, like The Gremlins, and it's like, oh, there's a gremlin in my gremlin. It won't start. No.
That was terrible.
My gremlin is living up to its name today. Like,
Okay, stop.
that's why you burn the car, because the jokes are terrible.
The jokes are terrible because you made them terrible.
Everyone's bad as it's not the forte's forte. Come on.
Oh, God. Don't egg him on.
That was good.
We're just gonna be laughing for the next 20 minutes over that one.
That was good, though. That was good.
That was not a good joke. That was never a good joke.
Your mom goes to college. Anyway, we're done with this show.
We are done with this show. I hope everyone has enjoyed our little shindig party we have here. It's been like going on for I think an hour and 30 minutes or something.
An hour and a half, yeah.
So
It doesn't matter, 'cause
it's
we're awesome.
It's episode 2025.
Yeah.
Next week, episode 26. That's 6 months we've been doing this show.
Holy,
It's been that long?
Yeah, there's 52 weeks in a year, buddy. What's half of 52?
Don't even get my calculator.
So yeah, 6 months next week, and you guys have been along for the whole ride, and I really appreciate it. I'm gonna take off these terrible sunglasses. I really do appreciate everyone who's hung out with me and Mark and Justin. We all think you're awesome, and we're all happy that you think we're at least awesome enough to listen to.
for an hour and a half out of your week.
Yeah, as always, This is TopSpeed.com podcast. We love having your questions, your comments, your suggestions, your own drive burns. We need questions for every show. We need own drive burns for every show. I have an own drive burn for next week, but that's the last one that I've got. So jump down to those comments. Send us those. Send us an email. Email is really easy. It's podcast@topspeed.com. Send us all your questions, comments, ODBs, all that stuff there. Obviously, if you want to follow us outside of work, aside from the site, you can follow us all on the Twitters. I am at Moeford. That is Moeferd. You can find Justin at The Car Junkie. And Mark McNabb is at Mark McNabb, but he prefers the Instagrammies over the Twitters because he's weird and he likes the Instagrammies. But it's the same thing. It's at Mark McNabb.
Yeah.
Also,
I used to tweet, so.
Yeah. Well, a lot of your photos show up on the Twitter site anyway. So
Yeah,
if you
I
follow
try,
him on
yeah.
Twitter, you'll still.
But if you want to, you can creep in my college life when I used to tweet.
Because yeah,
It's on like the second page down, and it's like 3, 4, 10 years ago. You know.
because that's how awesome we are.
Yeah.
You can also follow the Top Speed Podcast on iTunes, or you can follow it on Twitter. The Twitter is simply at Top Speed Podcast. Again, thank you guys so much. We hope you had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We hope you have a wonderful Friday, because Friday is tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm going to play some outro music, and we're going to end the show. Again, thank you guys so much. Super big thank you to everyone who tunes into the live show. Cyprian and Hulty, thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys next week, I believe.
Cheers.